Hi everyone, in this video I wanted to provide an update about my training, just more in a general sense, not about any sort of specific lifts in general, but just about everything that's going on with my training. So the first thing I do want to talk about is how I met Derek Mortensen. And some of you follow me, I'm sure follow him as well. He's a very strong guy, and I'll put his YouTube down below so you can follow him. He's much stronger than me, much more bearded than me, which probably makes him much stronger than me in every kind of way. But he is a very cool guy and a very knowledgeable guy, and I look forward to seeing him because he does live at the place I do, so which is a very nice perk of moving down here to Cincinnati, is to be around some really strong people. But onto my own training, everything's been continuing to move well. I'm still dealing with my IT band issue, and when I warm up on squats particularly is when it's the worst. It's still painful, and it's very odd because I'm trying to be cautious about it, and so I continue, like I warm up, I massage it out, and then I do warm up weights, and then it gets to where, for instance, today I did 225, it kind of hurt, 275, it kind of hurt, then I did 305, and then it started to feel better, then I did my first working set, and it was fine, and then I do my back off sets, and then they're good until I get to the lighter weights. And I think one of the things that coincides with working with the lighter weights is I do higher reps, so it's something that is more dealing with when I do higher reps versus the actual weight itself, which kind of puts me in a weird position because I can lift heavy weights without pain. I just can't do it for high reps. Even when I have been doing like sets of 3 or 4, like I did sets of 3 today and sets of 4 the other day, I didn't really have any issues with doing the whatchamacallit, with my IT band or whatever when I was doing those. It was really with the light reps when I do 225 for a set of 10 or with whatever. But for everything else that I do, it hasn't been bothering me at all, for bench or deadlifts or Olympic lifts. Just really at all. It's that really once I get below parallel into that bottom and then push back up, it's really where it's painful. And it's something I want to keep working on, and it will actually make me be, I know, surprising perhaps to some, and it would be to my parents who have seen me not really like to take breaks or anything. But essentially what I'll be doing probably for this week, it isn't for sure yet, but ideally I would like to take it easy on squats in terms of warm up with squats, and then if the pain doesn't go away when I get towards the heavier weights, then to just cut it off of there. And I don't want to try to push how much weight I'm doing in a particular workout so much because I just want my IT band not to hurt. It's just a pain in the butt to have that, to be sore and to be in pain a lot. Even if I'm able to perform squats at the regular whatever progression or whatever weights and reps that I want to do them at, I just want to just generally not have to deal with that when I'm just walking around or squatting down to get something or with whatever. So I'll be more cautious with squats in particular. Excuse me. But what I'll probably be trying to do to get around that, about the work that I would normally do with squats, is to do some of the Olympic lifting or more deadlift work, different things like that, and just continue to do things like that. Another thing that I want to try to do more to assist with the squats is less squatting in particular, but more machine work, and in particular the hack squat machine. I tried that on Sunday for a little bit, and also perhaps the leg press, so I can get some blood flowing into my quads without having to do the specific motion. And I think that will help me to get that to recover easier, especially in between workouts, because I'll be able to pump blood into there without having to worry about putting as much strain on that IT band, because I'm not have to worry about stabilizing, or I could manipulate the depth a lot easier if I'm doing a hack squat or a leg press. So different things that I can try to do with that, but I essentially want to get to the point where I can go warm up, and maybe I'll be a little tight, that's normal, but I just don't want it to hurt, especially in there, because no other part of my body hurts when I start warming up and then goes away. So it's just I want it to act like the rest of my body, so I'm going to be more cautious with that because I don't want I just don't want to deal with it. So hopefully I can get it to go away. I'm going to be continuing to work on it. When Derek and I were talking about a multitude of things, because I found that I'm quite loquacious, and if you don't know that word, then Google it, because it's a fancy word I learned in 5th grade, meaning talkative, I guess, so now you don't have to Google it. I saved you a minute. But in our long talk, one of the things that he mentioned, and it kind of had a light bulb go off to me, is the connection of a joint between the hip and the lower back and kind of that upper part, kind of where your hip bends and then to a lower part of your back, and kind of how tight, stretching the hip flexor can make your back tight, and kind of how they're all interconnected. And I kind of realized that when I was massaging my back and doing different things, because it wasn't as if I ignore my back when my IT band or hip flexor was sore, but it wasn't something I didn't work in different locations as low in my back, because once you get really low in your back, you kind of get in the way of your bones or whatever that are down there, your hip bones and stuff, and it's harder to get around there. It's a lot easier to stay on the top part or the upper part of your lower back, if that makes any sense, where there's more just muscle and flesh. So you're able to massage that easier. But once I went to the bottom, where it's kind of awkward to massage myself, I was able to kind of manipulate different parts down there, but I found that actually helped my IT band a little bit, just from walking around the house. It didn't help this morning doing that stuff, but I also didn't. I also just pretty much just got up and went to work out, since I lifted at about 5 o'clock in the morning. So I want to continue to do different things like that, and to continue to work on my back and my hip flexor and my IT band, do different things like that to try to assuage the pain the best I can, because that's really the biggest variable and the biggest problem that I'm dealing with my training. Despite all that, my squats have still been moving really well. I did 355 today for 2 sets of 3, and they weren't as clean as I would like them to be, but they still moved pretty well, even if my back was, or my hips were shooting up a little bit when I was doing those. And I find that to be exciting, and my bench went really well. I did 265 for 2 sets of 2, and I think I did them all paused, and that's exciting as well. So everything is continuing to progress well. I just kind of want to tackle the issue of the pain that I'm dealing with, mostly just because it hurts, but also because I don't want it to roll into a bigger issue and then I have to deal with taking time off from all my lifting. So I kind of want to get rid of the issue now, and hopefully it's something that through strategic rest and exercise selection that I can get rid of as much as I possibly can, because if it's a little bit of pain I can deal with it, but it's quite a bit, especially when I'm first warming up with squats. So I just have to figure that out, and what it's going to come down to is a little bit more rest, and that's what I'm not very good at that. It's a struggle for me not to want to go and do all the stuff that helps me get towards my goals. But it's a big thing for me to realize, is that if I'm doing things that are counterproductive to my goals, even if they relate to what I want to do, and for instance doing squats relating to powerlifting, that in the long term it's going to be counterproductive, and it's going to cause me to not progress as well as I want to. So forcing myself to be more cautious in the short term will hopefully help me in the long term. That's the idea. I'm not very good at the practice of it, because I just like lifting. I have that disease that a lot of people have. But yeah, that's really about it that I have to talk for this video. I do have the new replacement camera from before, and it's odd. It's a couple different colors. I don't know if I got a slightly different model, but it's a higher quality, and a lot more of it's metal, and it's a little bit heavier, I think. I think that's because the pieces are metal, but I don't really know unless I was holding the old one as well. But I also won't be able to record in 4K video simply because my computer can't process the 4K video. I was able to record 4K on my camera. The SD card that came with the package, or the whatever, I guess the package with all the camera stuff, allows for 4K video, so I can record video in 4K. I just can't process it on my computer, so I don't know if there's a way to directly upload to YouTube. It's something I may play around with more, or I may just not worry about, because the files that you work with 4K are extra big, and HD looks really nice anyway, so I'm not super worried about it. But if anyone has any suggestions of how to manipulate 4K video to get it onto the interwebs without having to process it directly on a computer, because my computer just says, nah bro, we don't have enough memory. And I can't really blame it, because when I bought the laptop that I used to process video on, 4K video didn't exist at all, and I'm sure the space on that's smaller because it's an older computer, and I'm sure on the other, I guess it's more of a tablet, more like a little laptop, but the Surface Pro that I have, I'm going to assume that it probably can't process on there either, and I don't even know if I have a program that would allow that, but that is neither here nor there. So the 4K video may not be happening, but you'll be seeing the high quality video like you are hopefully seeing in this one, with the nice, beautiful HD that can make me look slightly better than with my old camera. And you should notice a difference in the gym, particularly when it's like evening, when there's a lot of shade and sunlight that are going in. If you notice the last couple clips, either if you look at my Instagram or if you look at, I think, the last video when I had some clips from my old camera, there's a lot of shade and a lot of darkness because the lighting isn't great, and it was just simply because it was sunset, so it's not a good time to film at that particular location. But with this camera, it's pretty good to record anywhere at any point, which is extremely nice. And it has a much wider lens, so I can record a lot more conveniently in the gym without having to worry about getting in the way of other people, which is also very nice. But that's really about it for this video. So I guess with this, you got a little update on training, update on my fun little injury that I'm dealing with, and can I really call it an injury if I'm still training as much as I want? I don't really know. I don't know if I would define an injury as something that you can't really just train normally through and just have to deal with pain. And also a little camera update. And so hopefully I'm being super careful with the SD card slot and not just, you know, pulling out willy-nilly. I'm trying to be super cautious with that. So hopefully I don't have any issues with the SD card slot, because that's a big pain. But right, I'm still really happy with the camera and it works very well. It works exactly the same as the other one, even if it's some parts are the different colors, or it's more gray than black. But that's neither here nor there. I'll leave this, I'll end this video here. So let me know what you all think about the various things that I talked about in this video down below. And if there's any particular questions that you would all ever have about my training and whatnot, please let me know, and I can always address those in a future video. But if you never do, then I can just rant about random things that are going on with my training and life, and then you can all deal with it. But with that, like I said, let me know what you think down below, and as always, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.